So if we do want to do the helicopter floating chop, normally we would just do the full round rather than just up in the air. It's too close to the face, and it doesn't give you enough guard. So we'll look at that very shortly. So from here, we've got all of our other postures that we can use. We don't need to rehearse those, but we can move on and look at something slightly different now. So let's imagine that we've hit in this way and we've come this way, and let's say someone moves in and their head, first of all, their head is quite low. So we've got this little move that we can learn where we just hit in this way. It's fairly straightforward. This hand comes down a little bit so we can get this leverage, and just, it's not a super powerful move, just a dink into the side of the head. But our problem is if our visualization, 1, 2, is that someone is now rushing in on us, that's not going to do anything. And also we're going to be taken and we're going to be pushed back like this. So we've got to remember this idea of the realism of the fight. So there's a couple of techniques that we can learn from here. One is to use this as this kind of guard position, one here. So one coming up this way. And a lot depends on how someone has rushed in at you. So if we're one this way, 1, 2, we need to brace in a way that's more usable as a brace against the incoming force. So 1, 2, changing this way, and then from there we can push in, use this as some kind of guard or leverage. And there's a couple of things here to bear in mind. One is if someone is pushing against you, you can leverage against your shoulder this way, but using our best friend, the laws of physics, we can get the hand on the end of the stick, and that gives you more leverage to just, and even get the shoulder in a little bit with it, and just release force this way to push out, and then we can change into a posture like this. And these are quite, when you see particularly traditional short stick movements, you see a lot of these under the arm like this, and their purpose really is just for moments where our kind of average physical biology is usable in this. You know, it suggests itself that you can do this. They're not, generally speaking, they're a little bit fussy of you, this kind of thing, and you think, well, I think too fussy to maybe work in a crisis situation, try to work out things like taking your hand off and switching around, like, here the hand switches around so you can do that kind of thing. It's just a little bit fussy, but there are certain moments where the biology just suggests that this is a useful possibility, and this is one such instance. Changing. It's not. The other problem with these is they're not super powerful. They're not super powerful strikes, so the transition strikes into something else, into a follow up. Change into the. And also, of course, then even from the follow-up, then you're in quite an awkward position to then change back from. You've got to change back. Levering down. There's a lot of time involved in getting from this posture back into another posture. Which makes it just a little bit too fussy for me. So there's always a fine line between better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And you fight how you train. So if you practice a lot of fancy stuff, then you're very likely to try and go for it. But it's not that fancy. Could have its conceivable use in a particular. So won't look down on it. So there's another technique we can do here, but we've got to be really careful. It's quite easy to hit yourself on the head with it, and it's from, if we start from this guard posture 1, we strike in. There's almost nothing in this, by the way. I mean, you don't want it, but it's not going to stop someone who's really aggressive. From this guard posture, so maybe we've hit in this way. 1, 2, change, and striking this way. From here, one, two, one, two, hitting this way. One. A bit of a step, get a bit more three-dimensional. One, two, and look, the hand comes under the armpit, not the butt of the stick, which is also really easy to do by accident. One, change, step, and then we use this sliding grip drag to change it into the strike. So we're getting a big caveman club swing on that. So single, one, two, one, this way. Another posture that we can do from here, we've struck in here, however we stood, it's not fussy at all, it's just to change up and hit up with this end of the stick this way. From here, you can follow up immediately with changing in with a different strike. Same the other way. From here, we've struck in this way, change up. So this is just like pulling a handle down. We're using both hands to get the release of force. We've hit, and see how I'm leaning out with this strike, by the way. One, two, getting an idea that comes straight from traditional wushu flavour. One, hitting. Another posture that's a little bit fussy, but it kind of it links into something that we're going to do in a moment, so we'll look at it. It's from here, we strike, and then we one, two, into the strike this way. So one, the stick comes down, one, two, three, and it's like this kind of oar posture. And they're rowing the boat. One, two, three, and the thing to notice is the movement of the stick round the body, which we call a body turn, and we'll look at that more in a moment. Then into the straight butt strike. From here, so we're pulling it in, one, two, we're pulling it in close and then going for the strike. So just releasing force from this guard posture. Well, it's not guard posture, it's intermediate. We may find ourselves here. You may find yourself in situations such as one, for whatever reason, in the chaos, and we're one, two, three. And look at this posture, by the way. Look at this. This is straight out of ultra traditional xingyiquan spear. This is the spear posture that the infantrymen used to take. It's a bracing posture ready for the oncoming army. You see it in ancient pictures and everything, you see it in loads of xingyiquan forms. And we do it in Yiquan, long stick, Yiquan, gunshoe. So from here to the side of the body that the stick is on, one, two, three, and then into this. See how the hand is curled up like this. It's not like that, it's curled up. And you see this in the traditional xingyiquan spear as well. And the reason for this is so that you can get screwing force on the strike when when you hit in this way. Which you think like with a spear tip is even more, see, you know, you can see the point even more because it makes the spear tip turn and cause a greater injury, as well as adding force to the strike. 1, 1, 2, 3. So both are going floor, floor, round, back. Screwing straight and rooting by pushing up from the back foot. This actually is the posture that you will see usually in forms like this, xingyiquan forms, rooted from the back foot, the spear like this. We'll introduce another posture in this category here because it links on. It's in its own subgroup really, as we'll see. It's a subgroup we're going to look at shortly, but we'll introduce this one here. 1, so before we went to the same side, into this posture, now we want to go to the opposite side, this way. So before we went to the same side, 1, 2, 3. Now we go to the opposite side, 1, 2. So of course we can go into the 1, 2. There's just some problems with this. It's an awkward little movement. And if you do it fast, you'll see what I mean. It's really easy to just lose control of the stick with it. And it's really easy to clip yourself in the face with it. 1. See, the stick comes really close to the face. If something was coming in, that would offer no defence. And it's also really easy to catch yourself, and I've done it myself, experimenting and working on this posture, so I don't normally do that this way. What I do is 1, 2, and before it comes, to avoid this thing of it coming near the face, I use a different posture. 1, I grip drag this way to the stick, and then this hand comes up and we change to this hitting in posture, this reverse hand posture. So 1, 2, 3. 1, so it's out here, it's coming nowhere near my face now. The hand goes about this far, 1, 2, and then we hit in this way. With these grip hand postures, we want to, it's hard to generate power this way, it's different this way, it's hard to control the power, so we want to use the length of the stick as much as we can, use the laws of physics, and hit in this way. And this hand, this support hand's got to be a little bit looser than this hand, because the wrists are on a really funny angle for this if we do it over the top this way. And look, when I do it, 1, 2, here, the movement is out here to the side, otherwise you're going to clip yourself right in the knee. And when you practice this, you've got to start from here, and 1, 2. See, the rhythm comes in, practice it out to the side like this, 1, 2, 1, 2, before you bring it into a combination. And again, the other way. So 1, release force this way. Again, just making sure you're not releasing force, the stick into your own shoulder. 1, same side, and then here's the critical point. Can't come near your face, can't come near your knee. So it's got to come out this way and swing in this way, and the hands are like this. It's not a super powerful strike, but it's really useful because sometimes you just find your hands in that situation. We'll do one more in this particular subgroup. There's quite a lot, and we'll come back to them at another time like everything else. We'll do one more. It's a variation of something we've already done. Hit in 1, hit in 2, hit in 3, and look up into the cradle, which is, by the way, is a traditional Shaolin, and you see it in lots of forms, cradling in like this. So again, from here, 1, 1, 2. We can change, we can do this again, this way, or change in, start adding in our different postures. Same thing, exactly the same thing the other way. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, change into a different strike. The only problem with this strike is if you do 1, 1 on its own like that, it's much easier to commit to the power than if you 1, 2. There's far less power in that. And you also have to think about something that's almost impossible to demonstrate, but changing the intensity of the grip in each hand. So, for example, here, 1, as I change, this hand's got to come looser. 1, 2, 3, but this hand's got to stay gripping. So learning to be able to just change slightly. The one hand's always got to be firmly gripping the stick. All of that, you'll recall, was an innovation chain that just came around from here. Of course, you know, there's all the other things that we know that we can do from there, but don't want to keep going along that innovation chain. Got other things to look at. So our next concept, as we started with this idea with 1, 2, and we drag and tailed it back here, and someone moves in and would be pushed back in some way. And our weapon is out to the side of a person's body. As they push in, you know, they're going to be headbutting and, you know, it's going to be absolutely chaotic. You've got split seconds to think about your posture, and this all of a sudden is outside the side of their body, and you can dink them like that. That's not doing nothing. And all of a sudden you've got this weapon, but it's of no use anymore because of where it is. So you need to reposition it. And of course, in a chaotic situation, you're going to be doing other things. You're going to be taking a hand off, and you're going to be moving and using footwork. But there's a technique we can learn here. We looked at it before, and it's this body turn. It's fairly simple to do. So we've let's say we've moved in. Let's say we'll do it from here, this posture, and the hand just does like a grip slide out. 1, 2, 3, and we do that. So we'll do this way. 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3. And if you look, what's happening here is this tiny space here. If someone's moving in on me, I've got this tiny space that I can change where the stick is. Where, you know, even if our bodies are meeting our legs, there might be just a little bit of a space between our legs here, and we can just bring the stick through this way. The other way, grip drag to the end, 1, 2, and change this way. We can do it with steps, we can do it on the spot, we can do it moving to the side. It's always the same posture, unless we just do 1 half body turn, low this way. And we can do that, and we can change into this kind of push hip. We'll look at that in a minute anyway. But to learn the posture, we want the full body turn. So down, 1, 2. So it's using the body, and this is a technique and an idea that comes from Yiquan long stick. When you've got a long stick and someone moves in very close to you, so your stick is like this, how do you then, you can release force this way, it's perfectly legitimate, but if you want to change your stick position, you've got to manoeuvre it around your body in this way. We'll look at that when we come to do the long stick. So here, when we're doing it with the thick end, 1, 2, this way. 1, using this space. See, there's nothing, it doesn't matter if there's only a tiny space there, because that's all we're using, 1, 2, 3, to get the stick round into a different position. From there, as I've just alluded to, we can do the half grip drag and the 1 into the low strike. I'm not saying that's necessarily, it's not very powerful, but it's like when we do these, you know, I love these when I'm sparring, where you just clip someone's leg or something well, clip someone's ankle while they're just moving forwards, and they don't hardly need, you know, can release force and do them with proper power, I have to say. Too dangerous to do normally when sparring. but you don't need a lot of force just to clip someone and make them move over. So it could just do that, just clip someone on a knee and just unbalance them. It's long odds, I know, but it's always long odds in a life or death situation. That's the reality, isn't it? You're going to be doing things without even thinking about them. Grip, drag out, and look, it's leveraged against the body. 1, 2, this is a big part of the, it's a bit like a, you know, when we do this around the neck. 1, 2, it's leveraged around the body, and this is adding force to it in 2 different ways. 1, just the actual movement of the body, becoming more integrated with the structural movement, but I'm also rolling it and leveraging it around the body like a neck drag. 1, and leveraging it around, and hopefully maybe just clipping into a thigh or something like that. The other way again, it leverages, look, it leverages and rolls, leverages and rolls. So it's not just on the body like that, it's doing that, but it's also rolling as it does it. So this is what I mean by constantly searching for all little ways to add more power. It just comes intuitively in the end, as I've talked about before. And we have to bear that in mind, by the way, against the people who say like, well, you know, you just do standing and somehow some kind of supernatural force animates your body and you can just touch someone with a stick and they'll go flying. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people are guilty of doing demonstrations like that, and if we're completely honest, some people who should know better, who actually have genuinely high level, have done demonstrations like that, kind of on the understanding that, well, this is what would happen. If I hit someone like this, they would go flying and the students throw themselves back and it doesn't look good. But the knock-on effects of that is people ceasing this search, the use of structure and flow in each one to, I mean, now, something like this is the perfect example of I'm using structure and flow. This is flow, and it's rolling across the body, that's also flow, but this is structure, so this unity of opposites, that's a fundamental feature of each one. Contradictory dialectical interaction of opposites. And learning how to use that to generate force, and this is a secret. I mean, each one reveals all secrets of traditional wushu. This is the secret of forms. This is what forms are. They're this idea of structure, but somehow along the way, the creative and fluid use of structure has been lost and it's been replaced by just simple structures. Each one releases that potential, but we shouldn't then just replace it with the idea of magical powers. So that's a single or half body roll. Our full body roll, 1, 2, 3. Well, here something suggests itself straight away, and that's the strike in this way. The next thing to notice is we can do this both ways. So from here we can 1, 2, 3, and we can 1, 2, 3. They're not the same. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Using this body roll this way. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This one runs the danger of moving very closely in front of the face, and if someone's running in, that's not our ideal to bring it past the face like that, but it can have a use, and a couple of things that suggests itself for you. You tend to do things in a moment in chaos, just like in sparring. You do things that are a bit out of the ordinary, and what's important isn't that you made a mistake, it's that you immediately adapt to and respond. If possible, capitalise on that mistake. It could be a good mistake in a moment. But generally speaking, we want this one that goes down. 1, 2, 3. The movement that suggests itself from here first is this 1, 2, 3, and strike down into the leg. And the other way, 1, 2, down this way. But probably a more useful posture in the moment is to 1, 2, 3 here, and then just hit in with the stick this way, what we call a bar shot, where you use the stick as a bar and you just hit across this way. So from here, just root and release force and hitting this way. Just chaotic 1, 2, push back against the person this way. And you can do it 1, hit up this way, but we're assuming if it's very close range, just getting in, and the angled posture gives a lot of extra force. And this, by the way, is just this straight, you know, one of the standard xingyiquans in Yiquan is like this, you know, and then this straight kind of very structural cross this way. It's just like that. One, then hitting, just using the bar of the stick. And the other way, from here, 1, 2, hitting with the bar of the stick. Push into the opponent's body.